Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the Extra Attacker podcast. I am your co-host, Kynan Sorkin, and joined alongside me today to talk some hockey is Jeff Hale. How you doing, Jeff?
I am wonderful. It is Friday. I cannot complain about that.
Though everyone will be watching this on Saturday, so technically we're coming to
Yes.
you live
Yes.
Saturday. This
Look at
is a
that.
live show.
Look
Live
at that.
show. Live show.
We've already ruined it. I'm loving it.
Saturdays at 10 a.m. Mountain.
Yes.
That's the live show.
Yes. So the cat's out of the bag. Yes, we are busy tomorrow morning. So for the first ever, it is pre-recorded. But other than that, yes, please join us Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Be there. Tell your friends.
And why are we doing this 10 a.m.? What's made us do this, Jeff? You said that there was an inspiration behind this earlier today.
Yeah. So the reason that I even came to you to begin with, obviously you know hockey. You're from Canada. I think you know a little bit about hockey.
This is true.
But a couple of months ago, as you know, I live in Utah. We got a hockey team. One of my friends doesn't know very much about hockey. Said, I don't know anything about it. What's going on? Is this team even going to be worth anything? So I started talking about it. Apparently, I went on for way too long, about a 10, 15-minute rant. And he's in the back seat of the car and then just gets real quiet and he goes, you should really start a podcast and talk about this stuff. And I had never thought of that before. And I said, I'm going to bring this up to Kynan and just laugh about it. And your response, if I remember correctly, yeah, I'd be down. Okay, well, here we are.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And that's how it started.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I actually, a couple months ago, was talking to my uncle, and he's like, everyone should have a podcast. You should start a podcast. You can make anything a podcast. Just find something you like and talk about it. And so I go, I don't even know. And then you're like, let's do a hockey podcast. I go, that's perfect. Yeah, I can talk hockey because, I can talk about it for a hot minute. And we are right at the start of the regular season. The preseason's just finishing up. Heck, we're having our global series games happen. So technically it started, even though it hasn't started. The 8th is the official start. It's just the pre-start. It's the taster, the teaser.
Appetizer before the entree.
Yeah, which I never get appetizers.
No, very rarely.
Yeah.
Only if you get one for the
someone
table.
else is paying. Yeah.
Yep.
When someone else is paying, I'll do it. But
cheese curds and B-dubs, absolutely worth.
Okay.
Don't you look at me like that.
Well, that sounds like that would injure me, just like Patrick Laine is injured. Let's get into our first topic here. Segue.
Terrible segues. Get in store for that, folks.
Terrible segues in the best way possible. So yeah, we're going to talk about some of the current events going on in the NHL right now. And one of the big ones, everyone was so hyped for him to be back and be playing in Montreal. And Laine's now injured in the preseason. This is like Aaron Rodgers. I feel like I don't even follow football, but I knew about the Aaron Rodgers thing. This could have been bad, and it is bad, but it could have been worse, is what it's looking like.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I mean, everybody, including him, they were all worried about it. Especially with knee injuries, those have the potential to be season enders, career enders, depending on how bad it gets.
I've had them as a goalie. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a knee injury as well, and it's been 6 or 7 years, and it still messes with me on a daily basis. So, those knee injuries are pretty gross. But with him, he just, like you said, he spent so much time out of the game, finally gets back. He's quoted as saying, he said it was pretty emotional. Laine said, I fought back so hard to get on the ice and being excited again, and then the second shift, you get hurt again, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's the part, I obviously, as a Boston fan, could not care less about the Canadians. But
well, actually, you do care, just in all the wrong ways.
That's fair.
Columbus is a team we couldn't care less about, but Montreal.
What? I forgot they existed. They're like the state of Delaware. Nobody remembers them.
No one remembers them. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's looking like it's only going to be a 2 to 3 month thing. He should be back probably just after Christmas. Like I said, it could have been a lot worse. And so, prayers for him. And it's never a good thing to see somebody injured unless they do it to themselves. Cough, cough, Toronto. But it's Again, it could have been a lot worse. I'm just glad it's not
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
his sake.
Well, and for Montreal, as much as we hate on Montreal, the thing is, the teams you hate, you want them to be just slightly worse than you. You want them
Yeah.
to be really good to make it competitive, but just slightly worse than you so that you can still beat them. And Montreal's a team that they've been pushing for a lot to happen and been getting so close to actually having a good team. They've got a great coach. They've got some good prospects and they just signed their biggest prospect to a huge deal this summer. I'm hoping that this doesn't hurt them early on in the season enough that they can't be playoff contenders. I don't really feel like they're really quite there to be it, but I want them to at least look like they're contending for a wild card spot or something.
Yeah. At least moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we'll see what happens with that, but I mean they're gonna have to start the season without him, and they didn't have him last year. We kind of saw how that went, so we'll just have to see how that goes. But December, early January is kind of the timetable right now, so we'll see what happens and go from there.
Yeah, I like it. Well, yeah, hopefully that all goes well, and I guess we can mix up our order a little bit. Let's just maybe get all the injuries out of the way and talk about the Robin Lehner situation. So I actually heard a bit from Frank Seravalli, the head writer, president guy from Daily Face-Off, talking about this. But before I go into that, I want to hear, what have you heard about the whole Robin Lehner situation with his contract not counting towards the cap and his injury and all that?
I have heard, especially here in Utah, nothing but complaints. The long-term or the Las Vegas injured reserves have found a way to do it again. He didn't show up to minicamp. He didn't come in and get his physical like he was supposed to. So the league said, hey, this is a weird case. It's never happened before. Go ahead. We'll just take his contract off the books, give you this fat chunk of cap space. Everybody's pissed about it. I get it. I understand why. It's one of those things that even if it's within the rules, it's barely so. And to see the same team find a way every single season to do this, give it a few months. Mark Stone's going to be injured in February again. We'll wait for it.
Oh, December, please. He wants an early Christmas break. Come on. That's why I'll never draft him for a fantasy league, because I know he's just going to go on IR. Yeah,
smart.
I'll pick him up on free agency if he's available, but I'll never draft him. Okay. So it's kind of thing. He didn't report for the mandatory camp for physical. So this is kind of how it works with the contract. This is what Frank Seravalli was saying. He was saying that, so in order for someone to earn the money from their contract, they have to show up to work, right? That's just normal for a job. If you want to get paid for your job, you got to show up to work.
These poor guys.
Yeah, I know, right? And so the way that it works is, even if you're injured, you have to show up to training camp for the physical and fail it. Like you have to show up and fail it, and then you'll get paid. And that's what the Oilers had happen with a former defenseman, Oscar Klefbom. He finally is no longer doing this. And if you show up, you fail, you have to go on LTIR or something like that, and then you get paid. But if you don't show up to training camp and you don't do the physical and fail it, that is grounds for contract termination. They can actually just fire you straight up, and then they don't have to pay you. So that's normally how it would work. Now, we don't know what's actually going on with Robin Lehner right now. It's the injury. It's apparently personal stuff, and it's not at liberty. It's not supposed to be public, nor should it. If it's personal stuff, we have no right to know. It's his life. We don't know. But for the people who matter in making these sort of decisions, whatever's going on, Robin Lehner has made it clear that he can't play, and for his own personal reasons did not show up to training camp to fail the physical. And so Vegas went to the league and was like, look, we actually have grounds to fire him right now, but we respect him, and with whatever's going on, they felt like the right thing to do was to still pay him his salary. But in the circumstance and the conditions of the whole him not showing up and all the stuff going around that, the league was able to make an accommodation for Vegas so that even though they're going to pay Robin Leonard the money, it's not going to count towards the cap, which if we ignore the name of the team that's involved, I think is completely fair. I think objectively, this is great. This makes a ton of sense. And I mean, I like Vegas. Vegas is one of those teams that I cheer for after the Oilers. And so I like it. But I also get everyone's frustration where it's like, it's Vegas. Again, how are they so good at working cap magic? Is it coincidence? Do they have an in with Bettman? What's going on here? And I think it fits really well into the culture of Vegas itself with all the sneaky, cheeky money stuff that we all know with the casinos and the mobs and all that stuff. So I feel like it's on brand for Vegas.
They're just playing their hand.
They really are. The deck's stacked in their favor. And I feel like the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights had to have sat down with Gary Bettman at the beginning of this. Is like, look, we have a vision for the marketing of our team and what our team's going to do. Obviously, we're going to win. We're going to almost win a Stanley Cup in our first year, and a few years later we're going to win a Stanley Cup for real. And but outside of the game, marketing is important too. And we feel like we got to make it look like we're rigging the slots, essentially. I feel like this is the sort of obviously not for real, but
I don't hate it.
At some point, enough coincidences happened that you kind of wonder, is it still a coincidence, or is there something? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm in 100% agreement with you. I mean, the purpose of the cap is, we don't want you to be able to go out and spend as much money as you possibly can and buy up every top name player. In this case, if he's not performing, he's not playing, he cannot now play. And they just said, hey, we'd still like to just do right by him as a human being and let him have some money. I have no problem with that. But, I mean, like the both of us said, they can't keep getting away with this. Why couldn't this have been any other team but Vegas? I think the people whining about it, I think they're misguided. I think they're misjudging the situation. 110% understand and can somewhat sympathize with them because Mark Stone.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even Thomas Hertl. When they got him last year, he was on LTIR, and it was kind of like he did at least come and start playing before the playoffs started, so that was at least something. But people are like, "Oh, Vegas is gonna do it again."
Yeah. I mean, there's no way other than the cap magic they would have been able to pick up Tomas Hertl and Noah Hannafin.
Yep.
No way they're affording both of them last year. They didn't end up winning, but I can guarantee without those two, they would have done even worse than they did. So. Again, I understand the hate, but I mean, get over it, guys. This is not the one to be upset about.
Yeah. I agree. But yeah, I got nothing further on that, so I guess we can go to something big for you. I know you're a big Bruins fan, but living in Utah and getting all hyped up about the thing, you guys got a new captain today. How you feeling about it?
We did. I think nobody was surprised by that. Everybody saw it coming forever and a day ago. It was just a matter of time. Captain Keller, officially named Utah Hockey Club's first ever franchise captain. And before you guys start getting upset, and before that right there, this is a new franchise. This was not a relocation. The franchise rights are still in Arizona. He is
actually
first
no, they're not.
Ever franchise
they're not
captain.
anymore. They're not anymore.
Well, okay, they were left behind in Arizona.
They were, but then the former owner let them go. It's no longer. There cannot be. Yeah. There is no chance of that owner bringing a team back.
I do have sympathy for you, Arizona fans. I do feel sorry for you. We welcome you into the fold here in Utah. But yes, Clayton Keller today named as our captain.
I don't know, man. Vegas is claiming those as Arizona fans. They're saying that they're now in Golden Knights country.
I did see that map. They're trying to like kind of wrap around Utah because they're up in Idaho too. I'm like, nobody's buying that.
Also, it's Vegas. No one around there is going to want to cheer for Vegas.
No, I mean the only fans of Vegas are the tourists that are there. That's the only reason I went to the games because I was a tourist there one day.
Yeah,
just kidding, Vegas fans. But yes, with that, they also today announced on Tuesday for opening night against Chicago, we're going to have a huge block party outside the stadium. So I don't know how many people watching are from the Utah, from the area. Huge party on Tuesday. Let me look up here. I've got it listed here. 12:30 press conference with Ryan and Ashley Smith and Gary Bettman. So Gary Bettman's going to be back in town.
Oh,
We all hate Bettman, but he gave us a team, so we can at least pretend to like him for a little bit.
I'm starting to hate him less, if I'm being honest.
I mean, that's fair. That's
Over
fair.
time, I'm starting to almost like the guy, which makes me nearly throw up in my mouth to say that. But
You're Canadian. You're not allowed to like him.
well, I'm a hockey fan. No hockey fan in the right mind's ever been like, I love Gary Bettman.
That's
He's
true.
the best commissioner ever. No one's ever said that.
To be fair, though, he's better than both Rob Manfred of the MLB and Roger Goodell of the NFL.
Well, and that's kind of the thing. I know this isn't exactly what I know this wasn't exactly what we were meaning to talk about here, but brief side tangent. I think he makes so many smart decisions to grow the league and preserve the game and advance the game. The game continues to advance and get more interesting, entertaining, but not in, a rigged way. It's a way that promotes good play and helps grow the game and its audience and its interest and make it more visible and accessible.
Oh yeah.
And the minor rule changes and the things to help just essentially quality of life things for players, even in terms of how the schedule is and the way the game is run. There's still things I'd like to see, like ref accountability and whatnot. But
don't hold your breath on that one.
I know, but say like the draft lottery, even. Maybe it's because I'm an Edmonton fan and I'm a bit biased because of how fortunate we've been with the draft lottery, but it's worked out well for us, so I can't complain.
I mean, growing up, very, very young age, my dad was huge into NASCAR, so I'm a NASCAR fan. Or used to be, I should say. Gary Bettman, like you said, all the rule changes, all the league change, everything that we've seen the last number of years, whether you like them or hate them, they haven't been major. They haven't been detrimental in a huge way to the sport. Take a look at NASCAR, where all of a sudden, well, it's just not good enough, so we need to add a playoff system. Nobody asked for that. Nobody wanted it. Ratings declined. People stopped showing up. Then they tripled the price of tickets. People stopped coming. And every year they're just, let's take out the tracks that everybody's been watching for 50, 60 years, take out all the tradition out of it, and let's just keep throwing in more changes. In every year the playoff format has to be different, and just stop. They're at an all-time low. That sport's about to go bankrupt because they just keep screwing with things, keep messing with things that don't need to be touched. Bettman hasn't done that. I think you put it perfectly when you said he's found a way to grow the game and advance the game. Not just grow it, but advance it. You're actually moving forward as opposed to moving backward or becoming stagnant like we're seeing in some of these other leagues. And I've got no problem with that. As long as we don't have that huge explosion too quickly that it can't be managed, as long as we don't, how do we reach out and get these casual fans at the expense of the people that actually have been here and actually have paid attention and like hockey, I'm all for it.
I completely agree. Yeah. And I think he's done a great job. Well, just the league itself. We can't give him all the credit, of course, because we can't pretend that we like him, because we don't, because of the lockouts. But
you still suck, Gary Bettman.
Yeah, very much so. I'm not gonna boo you every time you appear, though. That's the credit that I'm giving you. But things like the revenue sharing, as much as a Canadian, I hate saying revenue sharing. It's actually been really good for growing the league as a whole and helping everyone make more money. Yeah. Because right now, say Edmonton, back during the decade of darkness, there were times where we were not a revenue contributor. We were not making the league money. Now we're making. Last year we made the most money for the league than any other team. Which is wild. It's, during the playoffs, the reports I was hearing about the amount of money that was just coming in the local economy and everything, it was in the millions, and I couldn't believe my eyes or my ears.
And at least one of those millions came out of your pocket.
It's true. It really did. Yeah. It really truly did. Those ticket prices when a full set of playoffs tickets cost more than your season seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit much. But
Yeah.
Gary Bettman, we hate you, but keep doing what you're doing. You're not doing a bad job.
Well, you're bringing back the Olympics. We're going to be likely getting the World Cup of Hockey. We've got the Four Nation Face-Off coming up this winter. That's all good things.
Yep.
Although you were involved with that, so you get a little bit of the credit. A lot of other people get a lot more credit, but I'll give credit where credit's due. Game recognizes game.
Yep.
And I guess another thing that the league has done that's when partnering with Amazon, which now in Canada, Amazon gets the exclusive rights for Monday night streaming. Fun fact, just kind of like how with the NFL in the US, because it's just in Canada that Amazon has hockey rights on Mondays.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to try and get into navigating the US sports rights market.
It's all way more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. But there's the new Inside the NHL documentary series coming out on
today.
Soon. Today. It's today.
Today.
Actually, yesterday, because we're streaming this live, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, Saturdays. This is definitely
yesterday.
We're definitely not.
This is definitely Saturday morning.
This is definitely Saturday morning, guys. Live broadcast.
Yes. One quick note. Just because we got way off topic there, but again, if you're in the Utah area, get there. I will be there Tuesday. To anybody who's a follower of my other page, Utah Hockey Live, I know I was planning on live streaming the game. There's been a post. We are going to push that back. We are not going to live stream. I'm going to do some streaming and some coverage from the party. But as soon as I'm off work, I'm going to be at the party. There's going to be all kinds of games. There's going to be a ton of food. They're going to be setting up a couple of huge screens out in the middle of the road and blocking off some of the roads so we can have a watch party outside if you didn't get tickets. There's going to be a live concert there. Please show up. Make sure that this team knows that they're loved, they're wanted here. They have the support. They're already hearing it. They already love it. All reports are saying they were so excited that one preseason game that we've had here so far, at how loud we were and the fact that there was more than 4,000 people.
You guys only had one home preseason game?
Yep. Our first home preseason game was against, I think it was the St. Louis one, but that was a neutral site. And then we had the one at the Delta Center, and then tonight, because it's Saturday, we play the Avs here in Salt Lake, but at a different venue.
Huh. Okay. Cool.
I don't know why. Probably because the Delta Center kind of sucks, but it's kind of cool, but also kind of sucks.
It's better than whatever Arizona had, and you guys are going to be getting a better arena in the near future.
Yes. Oh, yes. So come on out. Look for me Tuesday. All day there's stuff going on. And then again, like I said, live coverage of the game at 8 o'clock out on the grounds. If you have tickets, you'll be inside. If not, come hang out in the concourse. We'll all be out there. But other than that, tell us about Inside the NHL, Kynan.
Well, Inside the NHL, it's a documentary series that was filmed during the 2024 playoffs and follows a handful of key players. Face Off, Inside the NHL, reveals what life is like on and off the ice for the NHL's most elite in the chase for the Stanley Cup. In addition to the players themselves, coaches and family members are also featured. And 50% of what you're going to hear is literally just the bleeping out noise of players swearing.
Well, I don't know. It's on Amazon Prime. Do they allow that? They might mark it mature.
They might, but I don't think whoever's actually produced it is, because any clip I've seen is of just McDavid going, "It's bleeping, not bleeping enough, bleep." Like,
fair enough.
All right. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so if there's any F1 fans out there, anybody that watched F1 Drive to Survive, same guy that's doing it. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen a whole ton about it, but it does look good. I'm hoping I can catch one of the episodes tonight. We'll see what happens, but I'm definitely planning on watching that. All 6 episodes are up, available for streaming. Go ahead and take a look at that.
Yeah.
That'll
It's-
make you happy.
I mean, I like that they have done a myriad of players that you can kind of get different looks from different things. It's not just following, the ones who made it to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
You get to watch some Toronto crybaby players whine. I mean, I haven't seen any clips of it, but I just know. I'm just assume.
There's enough of it to go around. There's no way they were able to film
yeah.
6 episodes of a show without Austin Matthews crying about something.
Well, I think they follow Willie Nylander. I don't think they
Oh.
follow Matthews, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe
Nylander's
I'll
going to
look
be
it up.
crying about his own teammate pushing him down into concussion protocol.
Well, this was filmed before that, to be fair. But
I'm going to be
He's-
referencing that all season, by the way, so any Toronto fans just own it. Just take it because it's going to be happening. Accept it now. In fact, I'm hoping I can get that video on a loop, and we're going to get it hotkeyed, so I can just press that button anytime I want just to show that clip all over again. So it's coming.
okay, so yeah, let's see. So the first episode is Best of Rivals, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So yeah, the first episode follows Nylander, has a
Nylander
$92 million
bought the-
contract. And apparently he and David Pastrnak have been best friends since they were 15 years old. That is so
Yeah, buddy.
awkward.
Right? Yeah.
Of course they would go to Boston and Toronto.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
It'll be good.
Okay, the second episode, Philip Forsberg and Jack Eichel. Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And then
I do have some predictions about Philip Forsberg this year, so he is on my radar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, next week we'll be getting into our individual player accolade predictions. Hopefully the one in episode 3, season 3, episode 3, Jeremy Swayman. Hopefully we actually get to see him play. We'll be talking about him a little later today. Fourth episode, Quinn Hughes, Landeskog, and Trouba. 5, McDavid.
McDrysaddle and Hyman, all right.
Yeah, that's 5 and 6. So of course, the right players get the most screen time. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
Though Kachuk gets to have some screen time as well, which
I
mean
hate
that
him,
makes
but
sense.
I guess we have to.
You gotta have a villain. You gotta have a
Gotta.
villain to make good TV.
You gotta. It's true.
It's very true. Yep. That always makes the best. Some might say Edmonton's the villain. Some might say that. I would never say that.
I would never say that. That's
I
what
would
they
never
say.
say that.
I would.
That's what they
I
say.
would never say that.
That's what the 3 people who cheer for Florida would say.
2 of them just got shipped out of town. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, that's probably a bad time joke with everything that's going on down in Florida right now.
Look.
Prayers to Florida.
We just
we
can't
love you guys.
We love you. Prayers to you. We hope everyone's doing well. I won't make the jokes that I've thought in my head about it because it's just time and place.
Yeah.
But speaking
All
of
seriousness, no. Take care down there.
indeed.
Help each other out.
Yes. Everyone do look on the ice. You leave everything on the ice. When you're off the ice, you're friends, you're buddies. If Nylander and Pasta can be best friends while playing on Boston and Toronto.
It's true. You can too.
Yep.
You can too. So help each other out down there.
Yep. When Calgary flooded, I wanted them to get better so that I could then beat them again in hockey. But
Yeah. It was just really hard for them to drain the arena though without any cups. Got 'em.
Heyo. Actually, Calgary has won the cup once.
I know that, but
That was back in '89.
the joke is
88,
funnier without that.
It's true, but
But as you alluded to though, Jeremy Swayman kind of making me cry a little bit right now.
he's making a
going
lot
on
of
there?
people cry. He's making a lot of people cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's kind of a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. I don't think either side is in the right. I think one side's
No.
definitely in the wrong more than the other, but both sides are kind
Really?
of screwing us
Who?
up right now.
Who's more in the wrong right now?
Jeremy Swayman.
Really?
Absolutely.
That
Yes.
that is I feel like that's a bit of a hot take because I don't know if I agree.
Well, hear me out on this.
Okay.
Somebody who at most has played half a season, yes, has shown flashes of brilliance, yes, very well has the potential to be a number one. You haven't proved it. You do not have the right to come ask for number one money, and then when you're given a huge contract offer, still turn it down, and then have your agent go out and make a statement against the team that's trying to give you a contract. Yeah, maybe you didn't get the 8x8 contract that Neely made a comment about, where he said 64 million reasons that he'd be playing. Cervelli did report an 8x62.4 for 7.8 per year. So if you were willing to take 8, or as a lot of reports I've been seeing, he's asking for 8.5. The team's offering him 7.8. You're not willing to come to the middle and understand the team's point of view that you played 44 games last year? Dude, get over it. You might have the potential to be a number one. Kynan will be the first to tell you, I was more than impressed. Swayman was a brick wall. Dude should absolutely be in the Vezina conversation every single year. He absolutely can be the number one. You can't be demanding number one if you haven't proved it. You haven't done anything to earn it yet. You've definitely earned a big contract. At this point, get over yourself. You're asking for too much. You know you're asking for too much. And at some point, you have to budge. The team has come up from where they wanted to sign you. They've come up from what they originally offered. You have not come down at all. You got to get over yourself at some point.
Okay.
You know, that's my take.
Which is fair. I have a few counterpoints though, because I agree that Swayman is also at fault, but I don't think he's the one that's more at fault here. I think this is on Boston, and I'll tell you why. So, if we look at the last 3 seasons, Swayman's played 3 years ago 41 games, the 2 years ago 37, and last year 44 games. So that means for the past 3 years, he's been splitting games with Ullmark. They've been doing the whole tandem thing. There's a complete split. Now the difference between that and a number one starter, which is very minor, like a starter, you only want like a Hellebuck is going to play 60 to 62 games, and that's an absurd amount for a goalie. You want them in the mid to low 50s. So Swayman hasn't been very far from that. That's like at most 10 extra games that he'd be playing as your number one. As your number one. But he and Ullmark have been literally a 1A and 1B situation where it's really like we're just going to alternate because neither of you are outplaying the other. You're both literally giving us the exact same output. It makes no difference which one of you play. We're just going to alternate you to keep you both fresh, as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
But most other teams in their start, like your backup's going to get 25 to 30 games, like somewhere, 25 to 30 games. And your starter's going to get somewhere between 45 to, if you have to, 55.
Yeah.
And that's because goalies, they're playing the whole game, and it's not even just that it's physically taxing, it's very mentally taxing because you constantly have to be paying attention. You constantly have to be watching and staying in the moment for an entire 60 minutes. You don't get a chance to go to the bench and just kind of veg out and watch, because you never know when you're going to have to be ready. And if you go a whole, 7, 8, even 10 minutes without facing a shot, if you just start to get too comfy back there, all of a sudden when you finally get a shot, you're going to be letting it in. So it's exhausting physically and mentally. So you want to you're not playing all 82 games. That's the first thing. Secondly, so to say he's not your start, or he's never been a starter, he has been minus 7 or 8 games. There's not a lot of difference in his actual playing total number of games versus what he's already done. So I don't think that's a big thing. Second thing I want to point out is literally the year that Ullmark was winning won the Vezina Trophy and was having that career year. I kept hearing people say, yeah, Ullmark's great and all, but Swayman's even better.
Yeah.
And so if you are playing alongside, you're not the backup for it, you're the co-starter for the Vezina winner, and people are saying you're better, you're pretty hot stuff.
Sure.
And then this last year, he's putting up great numbers, had a great record, and had a couple of iffy playoff games, but every goalie does, and then they snap out of it and they do it because goalies are going to be different game to game. Goalies are very weird science.
Yeah.
And so he shows that he can play really well in the playoffs. So you're like, oh, if ever the argument's like, oh, he's not good enough in the playoffs, he's been at least as good, if not better than Allmark. Third thing, you traded Allmark before you signed Swayman. You gave him all the negotiating power, and so he can look
lost
at
all leverage.
You lost all leverage.
Yeah.
And so he's looking, with the cap going up a lot over the next few years, he's going to want to set a precedent for goalie numbers because all external factors and numbers indicate he should get paid a lot. Yeah. So it then becomes a thing where, okay, what does my agent tell me to do to get this number? Wait out. Okay. And so these are some of the things where I'm going, sure. Yeah, there seems to be some communication errors, but you gotta go. You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta be a business.
Yeah, and I think the best way that I've heard it said, I don't remember who, somebody from the Boston front office came out, I think it was today, and said, I would never begrudge somebody for wanting to get a big contract. I don't think he's wrong to ask for it, to want it, but at some point you have to understand what's realistic, what's going to happen. Even if you're worth $100 million, you're not going to get $100 million. That's just not the way that it works. There's a certain amount of money that can be spent. I've got a list here pulled up of as of September 25th. Was that 2 weeks ago? A week and a half ago? Something like that. Where he's asking to get paid, he's looking to be above Connor Hellebuck. So he would be number 4 behind Carey Price, Sergei Bobrovsky, and Andrei Vasilevsky.
Okay.
Skill-wise, I got no problem putting him up there. No problem whatsoever. My big thing, and I think I'm valuing it here, you're valuing it down here. Yeah, I hear your argument. It's only 7 or 8 games. I see that. I agree with that. I think it's more mental even than physical. The physical toll of 7 or 8 games, 10 games is going to make a difference. I think even more mentally, just knowing right from the start of the season every day, I'm the guy. As opposed to, am I going to play today? Is the other guy going to play today? I don't feel good today. He could play. No, you have to go in every single day. I'm playing. I'm the guy. I have to be ready. I think mentally it's going to take more of a toll on him. And so that's where I think he needs to prove it a little bit more. The rose-colored glasses, you put those on for a minute. My ideal situation, I'd say, he wants an 8 to 10 year contract. Give him that 8 to 10 years. And put in there, we're going to give you 1 year. The first year, pay you $6 million, $7 million, whatever it is. And if you hit X, Y, and Z incentives and show us that you have earned that number 1 spot, we'll give you the 10. We'll go above what you even asked for. We'll give you a 10. We'll give you a 12. I think that's where the problem is, where, again, I'm not saying Boston's not at fault at all. They have definitely bungled this whole situation. Mm-hmm. But I think he needs to be under a little bit more understanding of their situation. And again,
he could be doing more to help.
Yeah, and everything you and I are saying, of course, is speculation. We're not in the room. We don't know exactly what's happening.
We don't know.
But I think he definitely needs to at least come down and say, you know what, I understand where you guys are coming from. You can't give me all this tons of money, make me the number 1 paid player. I understand why. Maybe I don't agree with it, but let me show you why I've earned that. Let me show you why I deserve that. And at least be willing to come down a little bit. Again, my biggest problem right now, if you're asking for 8.5 and they're offering you 7.8, why aren't you willing to at least say, you know what, let's settle in the middle? Yeah. And I think it's less about him and more about his agent. This dude screwed Nylander out of 2 months of the season last year. Mm-hmm. I've been a baseball fan for as long as I can remember. I hate sports agents with a passion because of how bad they ruin players, they ruin sports. I think a lot of this problem is more on his agent, aptly named Gross. rather than on Swayman himself.
Sure.
I'm sure a lot of the conversations that are happening, he's not even privy to. The agent's just, I'm going to take care of it and I'm going to screw everything up.
Yeah. No, I think you have a good point there. I didn't realize he was trying to get paid more than Connor Hellebuck.
Yep.
That I as much as I think he's definitely proven that he's going to be one of the elite starters in the league, I don't know if he's proven that he's worth more than Connor Hellebuck. That I can give you. I mean, Swayman's proven more more competent in the playoffs than Hellebuck is, to be fair. But Hellebuck's season performances and results have been more extensive. Maybe it's just because Hellebuck's played longer.
Could be.
So it's like okay. So I mean, you haven't proved that you haven't shown that you're worth as much as Hellebuck yet.
Yeah.
So if you want to get paid like that, maybe you need to take a shorter deal to be able to get a better deal in a couple years. I don't know. I'd have to see how long he has left as a restricted free agent. I don't know, but I think,
and that's my big thing too. I mean, I genuinely believe that the ceiling is there. He absolutely could be the uncontested number one goalie in the league. We've seen the potential. I want to see some results.
Well, especially with Boston's
there hasn't been
defense, especially with Boston's decor in front of him. Yeah, totally.
Exactly right. I mean, we would be doing him a disservice to say that he was not the MVP of the Toronto series and the Florida series in the playoffs. He absolutely was, 100%. But I need to see a little bit more before we're willing to just give you a blank check in hey, here, have everything you want. We're not even gonna question. We're not gonna make you meet us in the middle. I think you need to earn the proverbial FU money, and I don't think he's there quite yet. I want to see a little bit more out of him. I want to see him stay here, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it will. I think he'll sign in Boston.
I hope so.
Well, because here's the thing. It's going to cost Boston more it's going to cost somebody else more to get Swayman.
Yeah.
Swayman won't be able to get even the money that Boston's offering him in the event that he has to be traded. Because in order to trade Swayman, not only do you have to then pay him the exorbitant amount of money, but you also have to package something to get him. You have to give Boston something of at least equal value. So no one who's a contender right now, no one as good as Boston is going to be able to make a trade like that at this point.
I'll name one team. There are three that are on the list as kind of the big rumor mill right now. Chicago and Colorado being the 1 and 2. I don't know that I buy those two.
If
we had a team.
That Chicago exactly fits what I'm saying, is that they're not that good. Colorado's interesting. I wouldn't believe that. Georgiev's fine enough.
And that could be a thing that they'd have to ship him out. There's no way you're going to have him as a backup to Sway.
No. No, it would be Swayman and Georgiev, but Georgiev would have to be packaged with someone.
Exactly, yeah. The third team, though, if we were to have an NHL team that had cap space, had an owner who was willing to spend money, and had a buttload of draft picks that they could get rid of his capital to a team that might want to pick a couple draft picks up, and a team that has solid goalie play but doesn't have a number one. There is a team that meets all that criteria, and they are the third team that is going around on the rumor mill. Utah Hockey Club. I think if he gets dealt, I do think they're the front runners. Ryan Smith, he's so excited to have the team. Let me just spend money. Everybody wants a check. You get a check, and you get a check, and he's Oprah out here in Salt Lake City. And it's exciting to see. Look at how many. I mean, Arizona did a lot of things wrong, but what they didn't do wrong is they stockpiled assets for us. And those assets, I think, what was it? 22 draft picks in the first 3 rounds this year, or something stupid like that. It's ridiculous. How many draft picks?
You were allowed to have that many,
right? And I mean, I'm just thinking from from that standpoint, you send Swayman over. Ryan Smith would give him 8.59 mil for somewhere close to 6 to 8 years. What do you have to give in return? We've got two good goalies. Both of them are pretty close to each other. Package one of those goalies with a couple of draft picks. I think Boston jumps on that. If they can't get anything done, of course.
Yeah, Utah has 9.9 million in current cap space. So yeah, that would.
Yeah. So even without the cap space we trade away, they've already got the cap space for it.
Yeah, and if I'm playing on my Xbox, that makes perfect sense. But why would Swayman want to go to Utah or to Chicago? Like maybe Colorado, but I just don't.
The question that I have is, does he have a choice? I don't think he does. I could be wrong.
Yeah, Colorado's got 2 million in cap space. They would have to.
They'd have to dump a lot, yeah. But we've got, both Connor Ingram and Karel Vejmelka, they're not number one in the league type guys, but they're both very, very talented. They're showing a lot of good things, a lot of potential. I could absolutely see getting rid of Ingram, keep Vejmelka behind Swayman as our 1-2 punch right there in goal. Honestly, at that point, I think Utah instantly becomes a playoff team.
You think?
I do.
I'll look at Utah's. I gotta look at y'all's roster again, because I just don't think Utah has enough proven. I don't think Utah has enough proven forward skill, offensive skill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fair. To be that. I think they're close. Fair. I think they're close, but they need a bit more elite offensive talent, which I don't think you have enough. I think you have a lot of. I think Utah has a lot of third line players.
Well, and I think a lot of our players are underrated. I think that's
I agree. I would definitely agree.
Too. We got Lawson Krause and Josh Doan there. Nobody talks about those two. Those two have a lot of talent. Miyamoto coming out of nowhere and playing yes, it's the preseason. Dude's playing like a bat out of hell. If he can keep that up even half as good as he's performing there, it's going to make Edmonton look silly for getting rid of him. Dylan Genther. Nobody talks about that dude. We just signed him to a big contract. He's easily a top of the line player. Obviously, you've got the Clayton Keller. You've got a couple other guys in here. Logan Cooley, he's the other big one. Yeah. Liam O'Brien, underrated. Nick Schmaltz, underrated. Kevin Stenlund, underrated. I don't think we're a cup team. I'm under no delusions with that. I have been telling people year 3, this will be a playoff team. As we've made more moves, that timeline is starting to move up a little bit. I'm thinking year 2, but if we were to pick up Swayman, I honestly think that is our biggest weakness right now, is goal. Yes, I agree. We need to get a little bit better on the forward. I think our biggest problem is goal.
And I could agree. I personally have a soft spot for Ingram. I think I don't think people give him enough credit.
No, not at all.
But at the same time, for all the same reasons why we're saying Swayman's not worth 8.5, Ingram hasn't proven himself either. So it's for all, I think Ingram has potential from the bits I've seen.
Yep.
But not enough where I'm like, I could make the call like, oh yeah, Ingram's going to be great. I can do the whole biz thing, Ryan Whitney, where they're like, oh yeah, he's going to win the Vista this year. He's going to be great. No. The Delulu takes. No. And so I agree. I think that could push you over the edge and possibly make you really, really good. But I don't see Boston wanting to go that route because Boston wants to remain competitive. Boston wants to keep making it seem like they could go on a cup run. I don't think. Yeah. I think they're teams that are just too much better, but they want to sustain that. And Swayman is young and can give you that longevity.
Yeah. Well, and there's something in the water in the goalie room too. I mean, Olmark was getting laughed out of the league. We pick him up, and now all of a sudden he wins the Vezina, and he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think Korpisalo, not very good. Coming over to Boston, I think he could be a true number one. I think he's gonna be one of the biggest improvements year over year in the league. There's just something about our goaltending coach, our goaltending drills, whatever it is, that
Well, it's your defense. It's a bit of that,
It's
but
both.
here's
It's
the
both,
thing,
yeah.
right? The defense in front of a goalie makes a big difference because a lot of
Oh, yeah.
people will just blame goalies for letting in goals. But the scenarios in which they're encountering shots and even high danger chances, the types of high danger
Yeah.
chances and the things that your defensemen, the way that they'll funnel even the high danger things. I saw it in the first game of the Edmonton, Florida series. Bobrovsky played fantastic in that game that he stole, but it was less on him just playing out of his mind and more of him reading the situations that his defensemen are creating. Edmonton would get an unreal scoring chance,
yeah.
but the Florida defenseman would funnel that chance into a very specific threat that was very easily identified. So Bobrovsky
Exactly
was
right.
able to then make what looked like a crazy opportunity look like an easy save. When
Yeah.
really, a lot of the time, it was just the defenseman making it an easy save for him.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
smart goalies can read that. So obviously, yes, you got to have a smart goalie. You got to have the good coaching and whatnot. But your defense and the way they play really shapes how effective you can be as a goalie.
100%. 100%. And that's, I mean, as we've said multiple times, I mean, Boston has defense in spades. I'd be willing, again, yes, I'm a Boston fan. Yes, I'm a little bit biased. We may be one of the top couple defenses in the league. I don't even think that's debatable. Because that's always been our strength. That's always just been a Boston thing. Just be big, be hard, be aggressive, be tough, beat everybody up. That's just our blood. That's how we do it.
Well, yeah, your smallest defenseman, Charlie McAvoy, is 6'1", 209 pounds. That's your
Yeah.
smallest defenseman.
Oh yeah, he's my boy,
Buck Wild.
Charlie Mack.
Mackey.
Still need to get a jersey.
Chucky. Yes, you should. You should get a jersey. Okay.
But I did
actu-
hear though that
Well,
Yes?
actually, no. You say, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
okay,
'Cause
I was gonna
I have
say.
I have some new insider information on something.
Oh well,
Did
you
you
go
get it
ahead.
too? Because
I-
I just got an email. I got an email from Gary Bettman actually, because he and I talked.
Oh okay.
I tell him all sorts of things about what I think, and then he goes, "Oh, Kynan, you're so smart. We should do that." And then it never happens. And so I
If
think
you
it's
also tell
actually
him-
I feel like it's actually a Nigerian prince scamming me, personally, because he keeps asking me for
Probably.
money too, which is odd. But
Probably.
This
Did you tell him he
email-
sucks, even though we agree with him though?
yes, oh yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
today's
Oh.
podcast will not be a surprise. Good.
No. I always say,
Okay.
"Dear Mr. Buttface." Sorry,
I like it.
Buttman. Sorry, dear Mr. Buttman, because
I like it. I like it.
Bettman, that sort of thing. Yeah, dear Mr. Buttman. So yeah, he sent me this email, and it has, although it's a bunch of things that Sweeney, the GM of the Boston Bruins, a bunch of things that he tried to include in Swayman's contract that to sweeten the deal.
Okay.
He gave
so
me 5+1. So it's what we're gonna.
it gives me even more ammo for my argument. I think it's the teams doing their thing. Jeremy, we got a number of things here that they've tried to sweeten the pot with, and you're not taking it. I don't know. Seeing this list here, seeing this email, I don't know how you haven't jumped on this.
Well, I guess now it's time, everyone, for us to do we're going to pull the goalie. We're going to go to our 5+1 things. It's a series that we're going to start doing here on this podcast where we give you a top 5 list of things plus an extra one because that's the extra attacker. We're going to pull the goalie and have an extra attacker as a bonus option for things. So today's pull the goalie top 5 list +1, 5+1 is going to be the top 5 things that Sweeney tried to offer Swayman to sweeten the deal. And Jeff, why don't you start us off with number 5?
Number 5, Sweeney has offered to make Jeremy Swayman an honorary member of the Wahlberg family for the day.
Oh, just for the day?
Just for the day. Just for
I
the
can-
day. The
I
Wahlbergs
can-
are busy. They got a lot of stuff going on.
True, very true. But I can
You
see
know.
why that wasn't enough. I can see that why
Yeah.
it wasn't enough because maybe like at least for a week. It's got to be for at least for. It's got to be for
Yeah.
longer than a day. I feel to make it work.
Unless that one day is like the All-Star day, then a special day, free Wahlburgers. I don't know. Boston icons.
I mean, we do have him wearing an All-Star jersey in this photo, so it's just,
True. It's true.
all right.
It's true.
Well, number 4 on this list from Mr. Buttman is that Jeremy Swayman would get his own Dunkin' Donuts franchise in Boston.
Well, of course. I mean, Boston runs on Duncan.
Yes, they do. But I don't I cannot argue that fact.
I love the fact that I'm familiar with Boston culture. I'm from the area. I know what we're talking about, and you are just so lost, and I'm here for it. I love this so much.
I was sitting here thinking that America runs on Duncan, but no, it's Boston. Boston runs on
specifically.
Duncan. Boston did it
Specifically.
first before America.
Look how
thought it
excited
was
he
cool.
is, though.
So
He looks
cool.
so
Yeah.
happy.
See, I feel like they should offer him a Tim Hortons.
Well,
Got to give some competition.
no, we got to give Olmark the Timmys now that he's
true.
up there.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Poor
Yeah.
guy. Poor guy. All right. Give us number 3.
Number 3, Don Sweeney has offered a real bear for the post-game on-ice bear hugs. Olmark is gone. You can hug a bear. I don't know where this could possibly go wrong.
This seems like a very good long-term plan.
This might be my favorite of the terrible photoshops that I did. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. The bear just looks. Yeah. No. Okay. Well, number 2 is I feel like Edmonton could use this one. A get out of jail free card for any time you have to play against Florida.
I hate the Florida Panthers so much.
Who doesn't?
I know. Again, to all 3 of their fans, sorry your house is gone because of the hurricane, but your team sucks. I hate them so much. Can they just stop taking my teams out of the playoffs, please? I'm begging you.
Why does Florida? Why are Florida teams good? You can't even make ice there. They have to play on simulated ice. Not true, but they have to play on it.
No. Speaking about ice in Florida, are they doing the outside game in Florida? I saw that today, and I don't know if that was legitimate or not.
We can talk about that after this, but
We'll have to look into that.
We'll have to after this was done. We'll look that up. But okay,
Yeah.
Jeff. Number 1 reason that
The number one gift that the team offered Jeremy Swayman to keep him around was a one-on-one lick-off at center ice with Captain Marchand. And I am disturbed at this photo. And your response says everything I need to see.
I already have seen it.
I know.
But
That's the
can't.
best part. You've seen it and you're still dying.
Oh my gosh, it's too
This
good.
took me all of 5 minutes. So just imagine what would happen if I had time to do it. But
I'm not going there.
I for
All
one
right.
would pay an exorbitant amount of money to see this. Just imagine those two going at each other. The bear hug at center ice, but with tongues instead of hugs.
All right. Well, that's our number 1 and our +1, our extra attacker for pulling the goalie. Of the reasons that the things offered to Swayman to sign with the Bruins is that they would put an Allmark patch on his jersey to remember him, to have him always close to his heart. But it couldn't cover. You couldn't have it covering up the ad sponsorship on the Bruins jersey.
No.
Couldn't do
Couldn't
that.
do that.
No.
See, that's a nice way to end it on a heartwarming note.
Yeah, and not
Yeah.
on Marchand giving him
Yeah.
a French kiss. Anywho,
We are gross, but we are loving people here at Extra Attacker.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So quickly before we do that, I want to know.
This is off the rails, and I love it. Welcome to Extra Attacker,
It's
everybody.
welcome to Extra Attacker, where everything's gone wrong, and that's why we had to pull the goalie. So wait, what is this? What is this about Florida getting an outdoor game? Florida
Yeah,
getting an outdoor hockey game. There's no way. Oh my gosh. Panthers look to be getting outdoor game in Miami during the 2025-26 NHL season, with Tampa getting one at Raymond James Stadium in the following year. How? That's literally not possible.
I think the low in Florida ever is like 102 degrees. So good luck. I don't know how that's going to work.
At what time of year could you possibly hope to accomplish this?
Never. I don't know. Again, Batman. Not always on it. Sometimes misses the mark a little.
This is why I now have decided to call him Buttman. Because okay, but yeah, we get it. Florida is Florida, but this is also 2024, and technology is out there that can keep an ice sheet cold enough for an outdoor game in South Florida.
Which I doubt, because
in what universe?
Was it last year or the year before that they had it in Pittsburgh and the ice kept melting and they had to stop the game? And that was like somewhere that it was cold. This ain't gonna happen. They'll get through maybe 5 minutes of the first, and then they'll have to call the game.
Oh, wait. Between the retractable roof and modern technology being what it is. Okay.
Oh, so it's not gonna be outdoor.
So that was what I was about to say. So if it's a retractable roof,
is this outdoor game being played indoor?
As an outdoor game.
Yeah, not quite. I mean, that makes more sense though. We'll take that.
Okay.
I don't get it. So much unnecessary.
I guess. I mean, it doesn't look like it's been officially announced as a real thing.
Still in the planning stages.
No, hold up. I found something official. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman said during his State of the League address on Saturday night that would it be good for Florida to take part in an outdoor game. Wait. No, what? Oh, read more. Here we go. Bettman said he certainly liked the idea that it has a roof and is air conditioned. It's not an outdoor game then.
Boy, I like it.
Okay, so it seems like it could be official, might not be. It doesn't seem like it's truly official, but that they're genuinely trying to make it happen.
I hope they have to play like an ECHL team or something. Just stick it to them. That's just so dumb. Yeah. That's about all I have to say on it.
I mean,
so with that,
I guess
who do you think's going to win the division?
Okay, yeah, let's just head straight into it. You didn't even try to make a segue.
No.
You didn't even try.
No, there's just so much wrong with that situation that it doesn't even deserve a segue. Let's just forget it ever happened.
All right. Okay, well, then, yeah, we can go into our predictions for the playoff. The teams that are going to make the playoffs this year in each conference, out of each division. Yeah. So, yeah, do you want to start with the Atlantic then?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So
I've got my top three. My top three. I've got Boston, Detroit,
in first,
and Florida, in that order.
In that order.
In that order.
Okay.
I know Detroit's a bit of a wild card. I wanted to throw that out there. They have been picking up some good pieces. They've been showing some promise the last couple of years. They've been making a little bit of improvements here and there. This is one of those where I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they do. And I have Florida as low as I do because, yeah, they just won the cup, but then it was a sell-off and everybody abandoned ship. They lost a lot of pieces. I think they're still going to be good. I think they have that pedigree there now. I think they have that culture there now. They're definitely going to fall off.
I have to disagree because for my predictions, I actually have Florida winning the division. I have Toronto in second and Boston in third. And I'll tell you why. So the core from Florida, yeah, few people left, some key people left from Florida, but a lot of their core stayed. You kept Barkov, you kept Kachuk, you kept Reinhardt, you kept Bennett,
that's fair.
you kept Verhaeghe. You still have
That's fair.
Ekblad, you still have Forsling. You do need to beef up your defense a little bit, but they can make those trades and they can make that happen.
Yeah.
They can find ways to do it. And I still think they're going to be a team because they still have Bobrovsky and somehow they still have Spencer Knight, which I
Who's the
think
backup goalie?
that's Spencer Knight, who is
Spencer
someone
Knight,
that he's one of those goalies that really needs to be given a chance to become a starter somewhere because he's getting paid $4.5 million a year. To be a backup.
And it makes sense. I mean, regular season Bobrovsky
really
sucks. It's playoff Bobrovsky that's a completely different animal.
But Bobrovsky is a goalie that can play well in the regular season. Spencer Knight is getting to that point where he wants to spread his wings. And Bobrovsky...
And I don't blame him.
I mean, Bobrovsky's 36, so Knight just has to wait him out.
Yeah.
But if they can somehow find another potential candidate, or Bobrovsky can play a couple years and they can have a mentor someone, you could use Spencer Knight to get another defenseman. I'm not saying it's likely, and I'm not saying it's the best idea, but it's something you can do if you get desperate. Or, heck, trade Bobrovsky.
Yeah, why not? That's a huge contract off the books, too, for them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, he's only got 2 more years this year and next year on his $10 million deal. So it's not. So that's even easier to trade at that point because you might not even need to do retention.
Yeah.
Especially since he's got his cup, and it's not like he's been your franchise since you were drafted goalie.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think Toronto, they're going to have their classic, give everybody hope during the regular season sort of thing, and come in second. They're never going to actually win their division. And I have Boston at third because your defense is great. Your goaltending is uncertain right now, and so I could see you struggling at the beginning of the season to get as many wins because of the goalie scenario. And I don't love your forward situation a ton because, you have Passa, and Passa's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely legendary player. Future Hall of Famer likely. But you lost to Brusk, and he was kind of... he had his issues. He had his wafflings. I know you're fine with it, but from a statistical point of view, he was your best up-and-coming forward in terms of ceiling for production, in my opinion.
A lot of talent. Not irreplaceable, but
no,
definitely needs to be replaced. Definitely an important piece.
Yeah, and the fact that he just ended up walking, you weren't even able to trade him for anything.
Yeah.
And Vancouver went and signed him to a big, hefty deal. That's a big deal. Like, you've got people like Charlie Coyle, but he's 32. Brad Marchand, he's 36. Lindholm, I think Lindholm's overrated.
Ooh, okay.
As an offensive forward, I think he's overrated. Personal opinion. Zacha, I like, but then I don't know these other names. They're on very, very cheap deals.
And
none of them are like super. Most of them aren't super young either.
Yeah, and the only disagreement that I would have, I think overall I definitely agree with that. But I had that same sentiment going into last season. I was like, we have a couple of these top name guys, but who the heck are the rest of these idiots? Mm-hmm. And 2 years ago, we have a couple of top name guys, but who? We just set the all-time wins record 2 years ago with a bunch of these people that none of us have ever heard of, right?
Which is true.
And so that's something that I've noticed in our team. Again, we are heavily a defensive team. We find a way to make it work and extract all of the juice out of all of those players that we can. We got a bunch of these guys that came over at the deadline. Nobody knows who they are. They're just scraps from other teams, yet they come in and score 4, 5, 6 playoff goals. And they're playing an integral part of that team. But we have them on these smaller deals because they're not a David Pastrnak. They're not an indispensable player. That we lost a bunch of those guys. We're gonna get a bunch more of them back in.
Sure, And that's why I have you still in the top 3. I just don't think you're winning a division. I don't think.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Your division is has some big guns in teams like Tampa, Toronto, Florida, Detroit, that I just don't think you don't have enough to do it with your goaltending situation at the beginning of the season.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's
As we talked about earlier, I have a little bit more faith in the goaltending situation just because of what we've been able to do with goals. But with that being said, I don't think you're wrong either. So I think that's a very fair take.
And I'll be very happy if I'm wrong and they come in first. I'm all for that.
That would be nice.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I think Florida and Toronto, regular season Toronto, are too strong. I hate Toronto.
Who you got in the Metro?
Metro, I've got the Rangers coming in first. Okay. I really don't like my second pick, but I find this division to be quite weak. And I have New Jersey as second. At the risk of joining in a little too much with the New Jersey hype, I think people are really overevaluating New Jersey this year. I don't think they have proven that they're going to be as good as everyone thinks they is. Like, I have people thinking that they're one of the top cup contenders. I'm like, no. Let's just start with the playoffs. They don't have playoff experience. They're not a cup contender. And then in third place, I have Carolina. I think people are undervaluing the Hurricanes. I think that, yes, their goaltending is a little struggle and they've lost some big players, but they're still really good. They still got Brenda Moore as coach, and I think they're a good organization that plays a feisty style of hockey.
It's really interesting because everything you just said are pretty much the exact reasons why I have those same 3 teams at the top of this division. However, in inverse order. I took Carolina, New Jersey, and then the Rangers in that order.
You put the Rangers in third?
I put the Rangers in third. I think
explain.
On paper, they are the stronger of the teams. Two reasons. One, they find a way to underperform from where they're expected to. But
they won
the biggest
President's Trophy last year.
And nobody's going to repeat that. But number 2, my roommate is a big Rangers fan, and I had to stick it to him a little bit.
Okay. You know what? I can accept that. I'll give that to you. I think you're wrong.
What?
I don't think they get anything less than second. But I've heard of worse reasons. So I'll let you have it. What do you have for the Central Division? Oh wait, sorry, no. For the East, who do you have as your 2 wildcard teams?
So my 2 wild cards. Well, we're going to go back to the Atlantic. As we know, we already said I've got Boston, Detroit, Florida up at the top 3, but then I have in this order Tampa Bay, Toronto. And those are going to be our 2 wild cards. Tampa Bay Lightning over Toronto Maple Leafs. I think the Caps miss it barely by it's going to be less than 3 games or 3 points rather. It's going to be real tight. You're going to say that for who?
For Pittsburgh. I think the Caps are going to be hot garbage this year.
See, I think they're going to find a way to do what they did last year and defy expectations and get there. I think they're just going to miss it, and I think it's going to be due to the first month of the season. I think they're going to be a little too focused on every play. Don't worry about scoring. Get the puck to Ovi. He's going to pass Gretzky this year. Get him the puck. And they're going to miss opportunities, and it's going to take them a little while to figure out what the heck they're doing. Hey, guys, we got to play some smart hockey here. There's more at stake than just this record. Let's figure it out. Let's get it together. I don't think they make it, but I think they're close. But Tampa Bay, Toronto, I think both teams are going to fall off. Toronto, for me, there's just too much infighting. There's too much drama around that team. I think it's going to take everybody out mentally in a major way. They're still going to be good enough to get into the playoffs. They're going to lose first round in the playoffs. But there's too much crap going on there. And I think there's going to be more self-injuries. Just going to put that out there. I don't think Nylander was the only one. They're going to find a way to hurt themselves all season.
They're going to just keep doing it. I respect that. I respect that. I like it.
Yeah.
I have a similar thing where I have Tampa as that first wild card team. I think Tampa losing Stamkos is a big deal. but they've still got Kucherov, they still got Point, they still got Hedman, they still got Vasilevsky. So I think they still make the playoffs.
They're still a very strong team. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have Detroit in the second one because I think Detroit needs it, and I think they've got the right things to do it. I think I'm hoping Kane is able to stay healthy and is able to influence that team enough to become a wild card team. I have the Islanders and the Penguins as those teams competing with Detroit for it. I don't think the Flyers are going to be anywhere near as good as they were last year. I think the Tortorella effect will work for the 1 year, and then he's just going to lose the team because I think I hate Tortorella as a coach. I don't think he's a good coach, and I don't think he has the ability to coach a team long term in any way, shape, or form. But that's besides the point. I think I want Detroit to do it because I like the Red Wings. I think they're a cool team, and I think they got some good talent. I'm a little worried about their goaltending situation since they're running Talbot and Campbell, but I think the Penguins are just old, and as much as I'd love to see Crosby,
they're just the Oiler rejects at this point.
Yeah, really, yeah. So I got Tampa and Detroit there, and so now we can shift to the Central.
Yeah, we at least we have different orders, but we have all the same teams in the East. So we're at least somewhat on the same page. Central, we're going to see if I feel like the Central, I don't think that's going to be too much controversy. I think we're probably very close on this one. I've got Dallas number 1, Colorado 2, Nashville 3.
I think you're reading off of my spreadsheet there because that's exactly what I have.
What you got? Yep.
I think Dallas has pretty much stayed the same. I think they've run a great system. I think that their coach is fantastic. Their team is fantastic. And I think Robertson is going to look to have a bit of a bounce back year. He, I think, underperformed last year, but ended up not, which opened the window for Winnipeg to come and finish first in the division like they did.
Yeah. They've also got some young guys coming in. I mean, Stankoven's technically a rookie this year. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. He's got a lot of potential. So
so I'm curious, why do you have Nashville at third?
So I've got Nashville. I think they're underrated. I think they're doing a lot of good things the last couple of years. They're starting to make their way up there. I'm still not seeing enough respect for that team.
Really, I thought the major
reason. See, the major reason that I've got Nashville up there, and this is a hot take, and we're going to be discussing more of this next week. I've got Philip Forsberg winning the scoring title this year. I think he's going to break out. He's going to break out big.
Okay.
Bold take.
That is a very bold take.
But
I don't think he's that kind of player.
He's going to be up there. He's going to be up there.
Okay.
A lot of untapped potential with that team.
Because see, here's the thing. I've been hearing people say Nashville's going to be contending for the division title, which I could see it, but I don't think their acquisition of Stamkos and Marchessault is as revolutionary as everyone thinks, especially considering their division. Their division is the most difficult in the league. I think the Central Division is the toughest league to win right now, and I think Dallas just has the experience and the systems with a beautiful mix of experience with Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin and a bunch of those younger guys like Hintz, Robertson, Hartley, Heiskanen, Ottinger. You've got this beautiful medley of veteran and young guys, and you've got just such solid up and down the lineup. I think
agree.
they win. I think Colorado's going to have a bit of a bounce back year. I think especially if Landeskog actually does come back, I think that's going to be a huge game changer for them.
Oh yeah.
Because they've been playing without their captain for 2 years, right? And if they didn't think he could ever have come back, they would have given the captaincy to McKinnon or something. But no, they kept it with Landeskog. He's gonna I'm really hoping he comes back. I love Landeskog. I think he's a great player. I hope he comes back.
And I'm going to throw this out there. Even if he doesn't, you've got McKinnon and Cale Makar. You're not missing the playoffs. And that's how good this team is and how good those two players are, that I didn't even have to mention Rantanen.
Yeah.
But those 3 players, you're not missing the playoffs. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. I mean, at worst, they finished 3rd in their division, but I don't even see them falling that far down.
I mean, technically, they were a wild card team this last. No, sorry,
Yeah.
no. Yes, they were because I played Winnipeg, who finished first.
Yep.
If I'm remembering, no, I'm doubting everything. Hold on, let me. Make
I
sure
don't
I'm
remember.
Not lying through. No, okay, no, the Stars. So yeah, Colorado finished 3rd, Jets finished 2nd, Stars finished 1st. Okay, cool.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's essentially the Avalanche move up, the Predators move up, and the Jets fall down. To spoiler alert, to a wild card team. I just don't think the Jets are. I don't think the Jets are gonna have as good. They're gonna have a really good season, but again, division's so tough. Nashville didn't prove, so I think it's gonna be too hard for them to repeat it. But I'll give before we get into wild card, I'll give you my Pacific predictions.
Yeah. Do I even have to guess who wins the Pacific?
Well, some would say yes. And Vancouver fans are not going to like me, but they were never going to begin with because Vancouver fans are very elitist. I said it. We love you.
I don't.
Comment below how much you hate Edmonton, Vancouver fans. So I have Edmonton in first. I think they're finally... Look, Edmonton's come in second for so many years, okay? It's just year after year after year. Last year, they came in second. The year before that, guess what? They came in second. The year before that, guess what? They came in second. It's been we've haven't finished first in our division since the 80s or something absurd like that. Now is our time, and we would have finished first last year if it weren't for those darn Canucks who played incredible, but who feasted on us. They beat us all 4 games of the regular season. Had we won just let me look at the standings here. If we'd won if we'd split the season series with them, we come in first in the division. So all we have to do differently this year is beat Vancouver 2 times.
Yeah.
Everything else can be the same. 2 times. And we win the division. It's as simple as that. I have Vancouver coming in second because Vancouver, I think they did get a little worse over the offseason. The people they brought in do not fully replace the people they lost.
Okay.
But I have them in second. I have Vegas third. I think LA sucks. I think LA's just gotten worse. And I think they've been waning for years. And now this is the year that they're finally going to just fall off.
Yeah.
So I think Vegas takes their spot back as third. And that's your top 3. What do you got?
Very, very similar, not quite exact. Edmonton. I don't think we need to dive too deep into that. They made it to the Cup last year. I don't think anybody's got anything for them. I think it's less about how good Vancouver played, not a knock against Vancouver. I think it's more about losing 11 out of 14 to start the year last year. I think that cost them dearly when it came to the standings late. I don't think they're going to have that bad of a start.
We are not going to go 2-9-1. No, we're not going 2-9-1 this year. Not under Knobloch. I mean, our 16-game winning streak did kind of balance that out, to be fair.
Yeah, but just imagine instead of 2-9-1, even if it was, I don't know, 5-5-1 or something around there, 5-6-1, with that 16-game win streak, we're talking Edmonton winning that division, right?
Yeah.
I've got the Las Vegas injured reserves coming in second.
Okay.
They, no matter how good or bad they are, they always find a way. They're always right in the thick of it. Mark Stone.
You can never count Vegas out. That is.
You cannot.
A fact,
you cannot.
Yeah.
And I've got Vancouver third. I'm more than okay switching those 2 places. I think those 2 are going to be neck and neck the whole time. I think that could go. That's a coin flip on those 2. As long as those are the top 3, honestly, I could see those 3. Yeah, I could even see either of them beating Edmonton. I don't think it's any question that those are going to be the top 3 in the Pacific, though. But I think it's our wild cards that are going to be a little spicy here.
Okay, who you got?
And you know me. You know me. I do like a spicy take. I don't think Minnesota taking the first wild card is too crazy of a pick. Okay. They've got a lot of talent. Last year they were knocking on that door and they were looking like a playoff team for most of the year. they've got a lot of talent. I think they just needed a little bit more time to gel and put it together.
I think they need
Wild,
Kaprizov to stay healthy.
yeah, I needed Kaprizov to stay healthy for my fantasy team too.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets a little bit spicy. I think LA and Utah are going to be fighting for that last wild card spot.
Okay.
And as you said, LA has done nothing but continually get worse. I think Utah takes wild card spot number 2. They're probably getting swept in the first round, but I think they might have it.
Someone's got to do it.
And the reason that I think that's a little bit spicy is because I've got the Jets finishing behind Minnesota and Utah. I think they drastically overperformed last year. Yeah, you didn't realize where I put Winnipeg until I mentioned that, but that's Central Division.
So so you got Minnesota. Minnesota. I feel like you've essentially reversed the performance levels of Winnipeg last year and Minnesota, where it's okay. Winnipeg's going to form like Minnesota did last year, and Minnesota is going to perform somewhat similar to Winnipeg.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't see Minnesota having the longevity. I think they're going to have a breakout season or two. They're going to play way above kind of where they deserve to be, and I think this is going to be the year that they do it.
Okay. I like it. Now, I disagree. I have Winnipeg solidly in that first wild card spot. I see them, Colorado, and Nashville all kind of just floppity flipping. Dallas is probably going to have times where it's like, oh, will they overtake Dallas? But I think Dallas ultimately finishes in first. I think they're just going to be more consistent. I think when you've got players like Scheifele, Connor, Velarde, you've got Morrissey and Hellebuck as your guys. I think Winnipeg is too good. I don't think they can win the division.
Yeah.
I don't think I think that's where they overperformed, is where it looked like they might win the division last year. But
yeah,
they're a playoff making team. They're a deadlock for me to make the playoffs. It's just a matter of where. And I think Nashville is going to live up to some of the hype. I think they're overhyped, but I think they'll live up to some of it and steal that one of those top 3 spots from Winnipeg. And Winnipeg ends up in there. And in my second spot, I have picked Seattle to make it again. I think Seattle's got a good push. I think Seattle really wants it. And I see Utah and Seattle fighting for it. I don't think LA is going to have a shot. Maybe Minnesota for a bit is there, but I think Seattle's just hungry. I think they want it, and I think the acquisitions they've made over the offseason are enough to push them that extra little bit to get there. And I want to see it. I think Seattle's a decent enough team that they could get that last wild card spot, but we'll see. I've picked them.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Seattle's just one of those teams for me that I feel like every year their expectations have gone higher, but their performance has kind of stayed the same. And so I don't hate them being a wild card team. I also don't hate them completely missing it. I think both are completely there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. Time will tell. And we're definitely going to be changing our opinions as the season goes along and say that we were crazy and stupid.
Oh, yeah. All it takes is one injury somewhere.
So true. So true. All right, that's all our predictions for now. And I think this has been great. This has been an awesome first episode, Jeff. Thank you for inspiring this, and I had fun.
Absolutely. Thanks for everybody that's tuning in. Like I said earlier, just keep tuning in. Make sure you share it. Let everybody know. We want to make sure that we're providing something that's entertaining. Try to be funny. We think we're funny. Hopefully you think we're funny hilarious. At least sometimes. You are the most hilarious person on the face of the earth. But yeah,
I've never known what it's like to meet a funnier person than me.
That's depressing, and we need to have a chat about that if that's the case. You have lived a sad life. I'm very okay with it. Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I'm not. But make sure next week, like we said, we're going to be doing a little bit more predictions. We're going to be getting into some of the trophy finalists, as well as just a bunch of wild, random meme predictions that we're going to be making. We'll be throwing a lot of that out there. Gonna be having a lot of fun, and we're also gonna be recapping week 1. We're gonna have some actual games to talk about this coming week. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Be there.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.